What is up, guys? My name is Pocketcraft and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can win with Lucario EX in Pokemon TCG Pocket. I'll give you a couple different deck examples and some overall strategy tips, so make sure to stick around to the end of the video. And if you find this video helpful at all, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We'd love to have you as part of the team. Pokemon TCG Pocket has introduced all sorts of really cool shiny Pokemon, but unfortunately some of them, like Lucario EX, aren't always the easiest to win with. So I'm starting this new series on my channel where I'm going to show you guys how to win with some of the cards that maybe aren't typically thought of as super meta relevant or good, but that look really cool, like Lucario EX. So comment down below what card you'd like me to teach you how to win with, and I'll make a video about that next. I don't want you guys to get bored, so we're going to go straight into the battles here, and I'll just talk a little bit about the strategy as we go through this battle. So this deck right here is the Riolu and Passimian EX deck. Passimian EX is another card that some people think isn't as meta, so I think it's a lot of fun to use. So the strategy with this one, and really the main strategy that you want to get across with Lucario, is targeting bench Pokemon and setting him up quickly. The difficulty with Lucario EX is he has a 3 energy cost for his moves, which can take a really long time to get set up. So Passimian EX is great for this, because when Passimian EX is knocked out, you can take the energy from it and put it to one of the Pokemon on the bench. So he's really great for setting up Lucario, and then I always recommend running Cyrus with this deck because it allows you to switch in Pokemon that have been hit on the bench, and Lucario EX, you can put some damage on the bench. As someone's setting up a Pokemon, you can take it out. There's a lot of different really fun strategies there. You can edit some of the supporters or tool cards as you would like. For this deck, I'm running Poison Barb because it's a new one that I think is fun to use. I put that on Passimian, and then I put the Giant Cape on Lucario to make him heal. As you can see here, we're coming up against a Garchomp EX deck, which actually is kind of one of the worst decks you'd come up with against Lucario EX, so we'll see how this goes. It's a little bit difficult because, like I said, the strategy with this deck is to set up Passimian and let him die, and then you can get the energy over to Lucario. But if your opponent takes out Lucario immediately, that kind of counteracts that. But you want to put Poison Barb on Passimian just to get off some extra damage to your opposing Pokemon. You could use a Rocky Helmet or something else instead. We have a little bit of a hard time deciding here what our best move is, if we let Riolu faint or not. But I think we're going to let it live. So we're going to go for evolving into Lucario here. I think that's going to be our best bet. It'll allow us to live out some time, hopefully until we can get things set up. But we'll use red here for the extra damage, which is really nice because Passimian doesn't do a ton. He only does 60. But we can get 80 off there against Garchomp, and that puts the pressure on him a little bit. So even if he takes out Lucario, by the time he does, we should hopefully be able to take him out, which is a pretty good bet. So we'll see what happens. He does have the opportunity to set up Rampardos on the bench, which could be pretty dangerous. It's a pretty hard combo to beat. So this is going to be a good example of whether or not this deck works well. And so he could get off probably damage on our Lucario and then go for Passimian. But I think this is probably his best bet here. He will take out Passimian, but that's kind of what we want. That'll get Lucario fully set up. We can put 1 energy on him this turn, and then he'll take him out. If he had a Cyrus, we would be in trouble here. So we'll see if he's running that, but hopefully not. But at this point, we've got 1 energy on Lucario, and then he'll knock him out this turn, and we can throw him in for good. But Garchomp is going to get knocked out either way, and then so far he only has a Fossil. So hopefully he doesn't pull Rampardos, and if he doesn't, we're in a pretty good shape. And yeah, he puts the 3rd energy on here to knock out Passimian, which is exactly what we want, and then I think we've got a dub here. We'll see, he could pull something out, but I would be pretty surprised if we lost this. He doesn't really have anything set up on the bench yet. All of his energy is on Garchomp. Rampardos doesn't take much, but he doesn't even have Cranidos out yet, so I think this is definitely going to be a dub for us. Once he takes out Passimian, Lucario should just be able to sweep. And that's really where Lucario shines. It does 100 damage, which is pretty good, and then it hits the bench, and you can use Cyrus or Sabrina for some shenanigans there. And so it's really powerful there. It looks like he may know that he's been beat here because he's stalling and hasn't done anything. It looks like he's thinking for what to do. That is one of the unfortunate things. So he does switch there, which is an interesting play. It heals him from the poison, so Garchomp lives, and he could bring him back in for more damage, and interesting. So that was an interesting bet. Okay, so he heals from poison, so he doesn't die, but then he can't do enough damage to knock us out, so I guess he's just going to go for a linear attack again, which I think was actually kind of a misplay on his part, because now we still have Passimian and we can knock him out and we can just set up Lucario anyways. So you can see he was probably scared there to lose Garchomp and get our Lucario fully set up, which because it can do more damage, but I think he's kind of screwed now. Yeah, I don't think that there's anything he can do. So this is going to be our first dub, I think. We'll see if he concedes or if he decides to go forward, but I don't think that there's anything he can do here. We can knock out either of these Pokemon in one hit. The Skull Fossil is an interesting bet here. He's probably just doing it in case he doesn't draw the right card. He can just retreat when he's ready, but yeah, I don't think that there's much he can do here. He does evolve into Gabite, so it'll buy him a little bit of time, and it looks like he's trying to not concede. He wants to play it out the full way, which I respect that, so we'll see how it goes. And I think he'll probably switch to get off some damage that will get him poisoned. But otherwise, we'll take out the Skull Fossil this next turn, and there's nothing he can do there. But again, like I said, let me know in the comment section down below, and he concedes. Awesome. Well, I'll finish my sentence there in a second, but he concedes. That's our first dub. We'll go through one more battle here. I'd just like to see if we can show off a little bit more of what this deck can do. So going to another one here, we again get to start with Passimian, which is nice. That's the way we want. It's kind of a bummer if you have to start with Riolu. It kind of messes up the strategy a little bit, but this is an interesting one. He's got Froakies going here. But as he sets up, the other thing I was mentioning is please comment down below any card you'd like to know how to win with. It doesn't have to be a shiny card. I'm trying to show off how to win with some of these shiny ones that aren't thought of as good, like Lucario. But any card you really like, you think looks cool, you've wanted to use, but you just don't know how to win with, comment down below, and then I'll come up with some deck strategies and show you how you can win with that card. But we got a pretty good setup here. We don't have Riolu yet, but we got the Poison Barb and Passimian, which is ideal, and we're going second, which is perfect. Hopefully we can get Riolu here. We get another Passimian, which isn't my favorite. I'd prefer Riolu. We'll see if Professor's Research can grab one. And we get Lucario, but not Riolu, so we'll have to wait for that, but we'll put Passimian here for now. Greninja is an interesting one, because it's another one that can target the bench, which is always a little bit nerve-wracking, but we'll see how this goes. One of this deck's main weaknesses, it just came out too, is Oricorio. It's a little bit scary because our deck is pretty reliant on EX Pokemon, so I would recommend maybe throwing in Primeape or Kamala or some Pokemon here that's not EX, because as you can see, Oricorio, you can't hit him if you are an EX Pokemon, and so that really does stink. We'll keep Passimian out for now. We don't have Riolu. If we can pull Riolu, we can start putting some damage on him. But if he does hit us, he'll get poisoned. But this is pretty dangerous. His strategy clearly is to stall, right? He could put energy on Darkrai, and he can use Greninja to attack us. And then there's not really anything we can do against him, because we don't have any basic Pokemon besides Riolu. So for now, what we'll do, I'll test out the attack. It won't do anything. But we're just going to throw energy on Passimian, because if he gets knocked out, we can send him down to somewhere else. But also, ideally, we can retreat. And so if we are able to pull Riolu, we can retreat into it, and we'll be in pretty good shape. But here, he's just going to snipe me with Greninja. And so this one is going to be tricky. If we can pull out a dub here, that would be epic. I'd love to see if we can beat an Oricorio with this deck. It'll be pretty good. So he's not going to attack. He's avoiding the poison, which is unfortunate. And so I guess we'll just put some energy on this Passimian here. We'll put a Poison Barb on him as well. We are not drawing Riolu, which really stinks. We could use one, especially because the nice thing about Riolu is it's going to do an extra 20 damage to Oricorio because of the type advantage. And so we really could take care of it without too much difficulty. We just are not having the luck of the draw here. And so we're just going to keep getting hit with Rod or Shuriken. Hopefully we can pull Sabrina. We have Cyrus, but there's no damage on his bench yet. So if we could pull Sabrina, we would be set, and there we go, which is huge. And so we'll Sabrina him right now, and we can get some damage off on one of his other Pokemon. And then we have Cyrus here, so even if we don't knock it out, we can pull one out again in the future. But he's going to go for Froakie, so we can just knock it out completely. Which, yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer because he's just going to go straight back to Oricorio, and we're stalled again. But we do get the point there. And so this is the thing, when you come up against Oricorio, it's nice to have some basic Pokemon that aren't EX. So Riolu works here. It's not the most powerful, but if you run it right, you could take him out. But if not having an Oricorio, make sure you at least have Sabrina so you can get into other Pokemon. Now here, Sabrina wouldn't work as well because he would just go into the other Oricorio, which is unfortunate. And so that was our last Sabrina, so it doesn't matter anyways, but we wouldn't be able to use it again. And so at this point, our best strategy is hopefully Riolu can take out Oricorio. And then if we're able to use Lucario can target the bench. And so we could target the bench, Darkrai ideally, and then we could throw out Cyrus and switch it in. So we get the Pokeball here, so this should guarantee Riolu, which is huge for us. Now the question is going to be whether we retreat into Riolu to try and get some damage off on Oricorio. We have the Giant Cape, so we're able to tank at least one hit, but we don't want to lose it. But I think right now we just need to get some damage off on this Oricorio. So we're going to retreat into Riolu, and we'll get the bonus damage here. So we'll hit for 40, which is pretty big. It's not going to be enough to knock him out, but we're able to get some damage off. And so let's see if he decides to attack. He hasn't done so yet. Now he could knock us out with a combination of Greninja, Darkrai, and Oricorio if he wanted to, which is a little bit dangerous. And he's still hitting Passimian. He probably wants the 2 points there, which makes sense. And so that saves Riolu for a little bit longer, but we're going to get hit with that Zwap, and we would get knocked out next turn. We do pull another one here, and so we got to think about our health here. Is it wise to evolve, or should we wait? If we get enough energy, we can hit the bench. So I think I'm going to evolve here, and hopefully we can tank, but I'm not sure. We could just lose one Riolu and get as much damage off, or we could go into Passimian and try and get some energy down, because that's the one thing I'm afraid of, is we don't have enough energy. So I think I might retreat. We're in a pretty difficult spot here, so we'll have to see. Comment down below what you think the right move is, and we'll see what you guys would have done. I think I'm going to retreat, though. I think it's really our best bet. We've got this Passimian with full health. If he hits us, he'll get poisoned, and now we're going to start setting up our other Riolu to be a Lucario. And I think that's probably our best bet. I don't think he can. He only has his one Greninja, so he won't get another one. So the most he can do from the bench to our bench is 20 damage. Now, we're still not in a great spot here. It's a bit of a stall game on either side. He can't do too much damage to us. Ooh, he does Cyrus us, which is kind of unfortunate. But I'm actually not too mad about it. If he hits us with Zwap here, we'll be perfectly set up. I hope he does. I hope he tries to knock out Passimian. Please do it. So he's going to do Water Shuriken. Is he going to do it on Riolu or Passimian? He goes Passimian. And just hit us with Oricorio. That's what we need. If he hits it with Oricorio, because I think it's only if his active Pokemon hits us. I can't remember if we get knock out. Yes. Sweet. Okay. He knocks us out, so we can get full energy down on our Riolu. And then we can evolve it here into Lucario, which is going to be pretty big for us. So we'll switch back into Riolu right now. It's got full energy, and now we're just going to have to try and use Cyrus to win this one. It's going to be pretty close for sure, but I think we have a chance. We can't do any damage to, and we just pulled our second Cyrus, which is big. So we'll evolve them both, because he can snipe our Riolu on the bench here, and we know he has Cyrus in the deck, so he could take us out there, so we just need the extra health. But we've got our Lucario set up here, and we can do plus 20 damage to his EX Pokemon, which is pretty big. So I kind of want to go for Darkrai for the 2 energy, but I might go Greninja because we can take him out in one hit. And so we can Cyrus next turn, take out Greninja. Right now Oricorio is poisoned, so it's going to lower its health a little bit, which is good because we can't do any damage to it at all, because we just evolved all of our Riolus. So we're banking on these 2 Cyruses in our hand right now. But I think we can do it. As long as he doesn't retreat too much. It's definitely going to be close. But Lucario's pretty beefy, and he can last a pretty long time. So let's see. Yeah, he's going to go for Water Shuriken. And we're going to set up the other Lucario on the bench, so we can retreat if need be. He's going to Zwap, which gets off a pretty good amount of damage. But he's down to 20, and we do get our X speed, which will help for retreating in the future. But I think we're going to Cyrus here, get him into Greninja, and get rid of Greninja. That lowers the amount of damage he can do each turn, which is nice too. Because Greninja just adds that plus 20 damage every turn, which is a nuisance. So we can take him out right here, and then he won't be able to do that anymore. And then he'll just have the amount of damage that he can do on each. We can't do any damage to Oricorio, unfortunately. I'd like to see if we could here, but I don't think there's any way around it. So we'll put damage on Darkrai, and then we can switch into him with Cyrus, and we should hopefully be able to take him out. Now, he's going to go into his Oricorio again, I'm sure, but we'll see. Yeah, he's going to go into the other one here with more health, which makes sense, because he will get the Rocky Helmet damage on us, which is a bit of a bummer. And so we'll have to see here too. The problem is how much damage Darkrai can do. He just did 20 there, and then he's going to get more off here. Oh, and okay, that was lucky. He definitely made a misplay there. If he would have healed Darkrai, I think we wouldn't have had any shot of winning. But because he healed Oricorio, I think we've got a chance here. Now, if he's got another Cyrus, we're donezo. But we're going to retreat here into our other Lucario. And we just have the perfect amount of energy here. Lucario will be set up. And then we'll put the energy here. And I think, do we Cyrus this turn or next turn? Ooh, okay, he can't retreat. No, I think we do. No, we don't do bonus damage because I can't play red yet. But no, we should be fine either way. Yeah, we'll do it here. We can't get any damage to his Oricorio, which is a bummer, but we'll get 100 damage off. He's only going to have 10 HP left. As long as he doesn't have another Pokemon Center or Lily, we should be able to hit him with the rebound damage next turn and take him out. Darkrai can do a max of 100 in damage this turn. Oh, we could get... If he goes into the Rocky Helmet Oricorio, we could both get knocked out, though. So we'll see what he does here. Hopefully he just goes for the attack and doesn't retreat. That would be our best case scenario. Okay, he does. Awesome. This one's a dub. That was close. I definitely wasn't sure we could take out Oricorio, and he concedes. So as you can see, this deck is pretty awesome. It can even take out Oricorio. Not 100%, but we got it there. So the main strategy with this deck here is that it's pretty similar to the Lucario EX and Passimian EX deck, but this one is just a little bit more aggressive. Rather than trying to use Passimian to load up energy on Lucario and just let them knock out Passimian, this one tries to use Hitmonlee to get some damage on the bench pretty quickly. It's also helpful in case you face Oricorio. And then you can switch into Lucario EX, use Cyrus or Sabrina, and you're able to do a lot of good damage there on Pokemon on the bench and prevent them from setting up. That's really where Lucario EX shines, is when he goes against bench Pokemon. Other than that, he can fall a little bit more short just as a direct attacker, but he pairs really well with Cyrus, especially if you have a Pokemon like Hitmonlee that hits the bench. Lucario EX will hit the bench as well, of course. And then you could also pair this with Spiritomb. Some people pair it with normal Lucario as well to get a damage boost, which works. I don't love doing that because it limits the Riolus that you have, and so it kind of limits your options a little bit on being able to have Lucario EX active and up and running, but that's a pretty strong option as well. But going into this battle here, we've got a pretty good setup. We kind of drew everything we need to start off strong. We've got Hitmonlee up here. He can be able to start hitting the bench, and then we can get Lucario set up in the back. We got the Poison Barb on Hitmonlee, and then Riolu here. We've got the Cape on for extra health. And so we'll have to decide here. I think we're going to go and put energy on Lucario for now. We could do damage, but I don't really think we need to, because we have an electric deck here. We can just wait, and right now Lucario EX can one-shot everything, so we don't really need to worry about shenanigans with Cyrus here. Usually that's the best strategy, but against this deck here where we get the type bonus, it's probably not completely necessary. And so we'll wait and set up here. We do have to be careful. Pachirisu does allow for setting things up a little bit easier. They can ramp energy pretty quick, but Pikachu and Electivire both do take a little bit to set up, and Pikachu loses his energy pretty quickly. And so we'll see if he goes for Pikachu or Electivire. He's going for Electivire here, which has some pros and cons. Once Electivire gets set up, he can do a pretty similar amount of damage to Pikachu, and he doesn't lose it, which is a little unfortunate. But we almost have Lucario set up here, and so we have the X speed. So we're going to get Lucario set up, and then we can just retreat into Lucario without having to waste any energy, and then we'll just keep Hitmonlee on the back if we need him, but I don't think we'll need him too much. And Electivire is almost set up here, and so that is a little bit dangerous because he can output some serious damage here with the 4 energies. Pachirisu allows him to get set up really fast. And so you'll see there he does 80 extra damage, which really is a lot. And so we'll have to decide what the best bet is here. And I think we're going to put on some damage on the bench because we're already able to set up here. And this is going to make Electivire a little bit more doable because Lucario can't one-shot him, or he couldn't with that cape, but now he can. And so that'll make it a little bit easier for us. And they're actually going to do an X speed, which is perfect for us. That was kind of a mistake on their part. I would have kept Pachirisu out and not gone for the damage yet, because now Lucario does 30 damage to the bench. And so next turn, unless he Sabrinas us, which he can't because he just used red, we can actually take out Electivire and Pachirisu in one turn, and there's no energy on Pikachu. So I think this is going to be an easy dub for us right here. I think he misplayed that a little bit, but this is where Lucario really shines. Right now we're going to be able to hit 2 in 1, which is pretty huge. And Lucario is pretty beefy too, especially if you put the cape on him. He can last for quite a while, which is really helpful. But we'll take both these out right now, and then next turn we should be able to take out Pikachu, and he won't be able to ramp him up in time. And there we go, 2 points right off the bat. Going into an electric deck is super nice, and this is really good for the meta right now as well. Tapu Koko is pretty popular with the new Ultra Beast decks, and so Lucario can do pretty well against him as well. Now they do ramp really fast, the Zeraora and Tapu Koko decks, which is a little bit dangerous because Lucario, that is his main weakness, is that it just takes a little bit while to set him up, and besides Passimian, there isn't really any way to ramp up the energy. That is a pretty sweet Pikachu card he got out right there. That's one that I am hunting for. Let me know in the comment section down below, what card are you most excited for, have you been hunting for and haven't been able to find. As well as comment down below if there's any cards you'd like to know how to win with, and I can make a video about that in the future. He's going to switch to Pachirisu here. Doesn't super make sense. I'm surprised he hasn't conceded because he's going to lose here no matter what. But I guess he just doesn't want to lose his Pikachu. We'll take out Pachirisu. That'll get us to 3 points. But there we go. That's a dub with this deck, and it works super well. You can use Hitmonlee, like I said, to hit the bench, switch in when it comes with Lucario with Cyrus or Sabrina, and you're able to do a lot of damage that way. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please check out this video right here where I show you the top 50 tips and tricks for Pokemon TCG Pocket. A special thank you to all my channel members. I really couldn't do this without you. If you guys would like to support the channel, please hit the join button below.